This video will continue the series exploring the inner workings of the portable executable file format. Our topic today is sections, and in particular, we'll look at section headers, section alignment, and the difference in memory and on-disk layout. Finding this series on the PE file helpful? Take a moment to hit that like and subscribe button. Don't hesitate to leave a comment or question below as well. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to be using the 010 or 010 editor, which is a very popular hex editor that provides templates, as you can see here, that help map the bytes of the file that you want to analyze. So fortunately for me or for us, we can analyze any PE file and apply the PE file template. Now that should happen automatically when you open the PE file using 010. If it doesn't, you can dig into the templates here and look through either the template repository, or if it's already there, choose the template to run. And hopefully you'll get the output very similar to what you see here. As for our sample executable today, pretty much any executable will do. I'm just going to use an executable that I've used for a recent live stream. As long as it's a PE file, you should be good to go. Now, our focus today is on sections and section headers, and just understanding what internal structures represent the sections and then how they're actually laid out, both on disk and in memory. Sections are important because those are going to contain all of the code and resources and data that the program is going to utilize when it's executing in memory. If you're reverse engineering the binary, the sections are going to contain the code that you're reverse engineering. So they're very important to understand. It also is helpful to understand this layout if you're doing any sort of PE file parsing, or if you're extracting PE files from memory, particularly when you're doing malware analysis or dealing with anything that has layers of obfuscation and maybe accomplishes some unpacking in memory. Okay, to get started, we have, again, normal PE file here. This is a non-malicious PE file, so there's been nothing done intentionally to mess with this layout. I compiled the program using Microsoft Visual Studio, and we have the DOS header, the DOS stub, and then the image NT headers. Now, within the NT headers, we have the signature, then the file header, and the optional header. And you'll see under the optional header, there are two properties here that we're going to come back to in just a moment. That is the section alignment and the file alignment. So we'll put a pin in those, come back to them in a moment. After the image NT headers, though, we have the section headers. And as you can see, kind of indicated here by our 010 template output, this is an actual array of image section header structures. And the type column here will typically give you the proper definition that you would find in the Windows header files. Now, speaking of the structure definitions, you'll see that they are defined in through the template, and you're given not only the name of the structure, but of course, as we start to explore these, you'll have all of the members or the fields. Now, you can oftentimes find these also defined on MSDN. So for example, the image section header structure that we're about to explore is defined on the Microsoft Developer Network. And if you have Visual Studio installed, here you can see the path. It's going to be under Program Files, x86, Windows Kits, 10, include your version number here, and then And inside of the winnt.h header file, you'll find all of the definitions for these structures as well. So sometimes you'll run into structures that aren't defined, and this will help you to at least locate that structure definition provided from Microsoft in sort of an indirect way. So here you can see the image section header. This fortunately will map up to everything that we're looking at here. 010 has already got the definitions, so we don't really need this resource, but I do find this helpful from time to time, so I wanted to point that out here in the video. Now, if we go back to 010, you'll see that the image section headers are going to be an array of image section header structures, and they're just going to follow after the image NT headers. So the distance to the first image section header from the beginning of the file can vary a little bit based upon the actual makeup and structure here within these first three header structures. Now, the number of headers will simply be the number of sections that are going to be present. So this program was compiled with Visual Studio. Therefore, there are several just common sections that are present. Now, the value is going to represent the ASCII name of that section. So .text, .rdata, .data, .relocation, and typically these sections are going to have very specific purposes. .text is a common name for the code section. That's where the executable code of the program, the compiled program, is located. We have read-only data, we have other global data, and then relocation information. Your import and export tables are also defined typically in one of these sections, and there's a video already in the playlist that covers that. So if you're interested in learning more about imports and exports, go check that out. Now, we can expand the section headers and begin to explore the different fields. First up is the name member. This is an 8-byte field, and it is going to be essentially just arbitrary text. Oftentimes the compiler will define this value. Maybe you are dealing with a code obfuscator or a packer. It'll provide some randomized or nonsensical value, or perhaps a consistent value, such as UPX. For the most part, these values are relatively arbitrary, and they're just there for us as human beings to read. Now, the next field is miscellaneous, and this defines two possible values, a physical address or a virtual size. Now, in my experience, I have found this to actually be the virtual size. Now, there are two elements that we need to consider when looking at these sections. First is the virtual. That is, where is this section going to be in memory during program execution? And then there is this raw. And the raw is, where is this section going to live on disk when it's just sitting on disk? Programs are executed in memory. The operating system will load them from disk into memory. And so there's going to be different alignment in the sections when that happens. So with this field typically is utilized for the virtual size, and sort of in conjunction then with the virtual address. So the virtual address then, this will be an RVA, a relative virtual address. This will be essentially an offset from the image base, and then this will be the size of the section. Now, when we look at the raw data, we have PointerToRaw. That's the offset essentially from the beginning of the file where this section will begin on disk, and then the size of the raw data. Now, you'll notice this virtual size. Let's open up a calculator here and punch that in 75454. In decimal, convert that to hex, you'll see that the size values don't quite match up. 126BE is not the same as 12800. And that has to deal in part with the alignment. So again, we'll come back to that alignment issue in just a moment. The last part of the image section header that I typically encounter, or at least pay any real attention to, is under characteristics. And this is just a 32-bit field, 4-byte field, where each bit represents a flag, a possible property of that section. And of that, if you scroll down, you'll see the execute, read, and write. Okay, if we condense that section header, move on to the next one, you'll see same data, different values, because it's a different section. Different name, we'll have a different virtual size then likely, in this case we do. It has to have a different virtual address because the sections cannot overlap, or at least they shouldn't overlap with each other, which means that as the sections are defined, both on disk and in memory, they tend to, at least in my experience, go from closer, lower addresses, lower offsets to higher. They just grow increasingly the offset value based off of the location of the previous section. I couldn't find any documentation to ensure that that is, like a guarantee in terms of the PE file, but it does seem to be the pattern. Although I could see that as long as if you were to modify the section header values yourself, you could probably change these values so long as the sections didn't overlap with each other. Okay, let's go back to the text section. PointerToRaw is 400 hex. If we scroll down in our PE file, you'll see that in an offset of 400 hex, we have the beginning of our section. Now, what intervenes here between then essentially the end of the image section headers and then that first section is just some null byte padding. And this space here can also vary. It's quite common to find PE files that begin their text section at this offset of 400 hex, but that can definitely vary. And so you may not have as many null bytes depending on either what created or who created the PE, ultimately the PE file. Okay, the last thing that we'll want to take a look at here just in terms of the structure is we'll go back to the file header, the optional header, and we'll look at the section alignment and the file alignment. Now, the section alignment defines the alignment of the sections when they're in memory. This is the virtual. File alignment deals with the section alignment on disk. Okay, so for example, you can see that our section alignment is 1000 hex. That means that after the definition of this first section, the next section has to be on an alignment that's greater than where this section ends, but on a 1000 hex alignment, or 4096 bytes in base 10. That's the typical memory page size. So how do we figure that out? Well, if we look at the virtual size, and we already calculated that to be 126BE, we need to add to that the virtual address. So we'll add to that. Nope, no, I messed it up. So let me try that one more time. 75454. We'll go hex. We'll add to that 1000 hex. Okay, 136BE. That value is the end of the section, because it begins at 1000 hex from the beginning of the file, the image base. This will be while it's in memory, and it has a size of the 126BE. So if we add those two together, that means that in memory, this will be the end of that section. This doesn't end on this does not end on the proper alignment, 1000 hex. In order for us to figure out what that alignment is, we just have to round up to 14000. So essentially, the next section will start at 14000 hex, and then there'll be the difference between that and this current value of padding bytes. So let's look at the section header, and you'll see the virtual address, 14000. Okay, we could do that again. If that didn't make sense, hopefully I'm doing a good job of explaining it though. And to find where the next section will begin in virtual memory, we can take 27126, convert that to hex. Okay, this section begins at 14000. So we add that to it. If we round that up to our section alignment, then the value would simply be 1B000. And if we go back and look at now our next section, you'll see the virtual address 1B000. Okay, very similar. Optional header, we look at our file alignment. A little bit tighter, that is a little less space between the two, and that's because we're dealing with on disk versus in memory. File alignment is 200 hex. Let's go back to our first section. We have pointer to raw, 400 hex. We have size of raw data, 12800. Now, why is this value different than the virtual size? It's close, but it's not quite the same. And the answer lies here in the documentation. And that is, if we look at the, let's see, pointer to raw data, a file pointer to the first page, blah, 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 this value must be a multiple of the file alignment member in the image optional header structure. Okay, so it's already aligned from the compiler when it was built. So it's already been aligned, and that's why the size appears to be a little bit bigger in terms of the raw data here than maybe the actual data in the section, and why it differs from the virtual size, because this does not have to be in alignment. That alignment comes in the layout of the next section. So if we simply add these two together, 128,000, one too many zeros. Let's get rid of one. And we add 400. There we go, 12C00. Now we can look at our next section, and you'll see that the pointer to raw is at 12C00. Okay, looking at these sections on disk then, we already took a look at the section being at an offset of 400 hex. Let's go ahead. Okay, I have this program running. It has a simple sleep in it, so it's going to stay in memory here for an arbitrary amount of time. I'm going to use System Informer, and all we need to do here is look at, there's our program, double click on that to bring up the properties, and I want to go to the Memory tab, and you'll see that here's our program. Now, the image base is 890000. That's different than the default image base, which is 400,000 hex. You'll see that's defined also in the optional header, image base of 400,000 hex. And that's just simply ASLR, or address space layout randomization. So the operating system is just giving it a somewhat randomized base address, and essentially part of a exploit mitigation technique. The section alignment though is relative, right? That's why you have a relative address. So at 89, so at the image base plus 1,000 hex, 891000, now we have our first section. And we could, oh, I guess we can't look at that. And so as long as we're running our System Informer as an administrator, we'll be able to expand and take a look at the actual memory content here. Let's see if I can get this to line up. Over here, there's the bytes, 558BEC51, 558BEC51, right? And so the rest of these regions of memory now are just going to be the rest of those sections. And so if we wanted to kind of redo the basic calculations that we did based off of this new image base, we'd be able to come up with the actual addresses here as you see laid out, right? We calculated the virtual addresses. Those virtual addresses are going to be added to the image base, and we're seeing absolute addresses here. There's certainly more to sections, but this has been the most important elements of the sections that I've needed to understand over the years for doing basic reverse engineering, for dealing with PE files in memory, for even making modifications and kind of hacking away on PE files. So hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something out of it. If you have any questions, comments, please let me know. Comments are open, or you can find me on the social media and in my own Discord, which you can find on the cyberyeti.com. Until next time, keep exploring.